agenda is excellent on achievement.
Good evening. In recognition of National School Lunch Week, which is October 14th through the 18th, a proclamation of appreciation is being presented to the Director of Food and Nutrition Services, Ms. Claudia Phillips, and SEIU Chief Steward, Ms. Linda Hanneman. Unfortunately, Ms. Hanneman could not be joining us this evening, so Claudia will take the certificate to you.
This proclamation of appreciation for National School Lunch Week reads as follows. Whereas Food and Nutrition Services staff serve students and school systems throughout the year in many capacities that help students achieve their maximum potential by providing nutritious meals that promote proper growth and development. And whereas the contributions of these talented and dedicated individuals are recognized in honor of the National School Lunch Week, October 14 through 18, 2013. And whereas U-46 Food and Nutrition Services staff not only lends their special skills and talents to the efficient operation of the school system, they also have played a significant role in the district's quest for continuous improvement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education recognizes its talented staff prior to National School Lunch Week, October 14 through 18, 2013, and asks administrators, teachers, students, parents, and the community to join in recognizing and thanking these individuals for their dedication, efforts, and service on behalf of children and youth. Presented this 7th day of October 2013, signed by Donna Smith, President, Board of Education, and Jose M. Torres, Superintendent. Thank you very much, and congratulations, and thanks for the hard work.
Next item on the agenda is comments from the audience.
We are now at the portion of the agenda where the board welcomes public comment from the audience. The protocol of this part of the meeting is for the board to receive input for consideration and not necessarily to answer questions or provide feedback as a group at this particular time. Persons who wish to speak must first turn in a request to speak card. These cards will be accepted until the first speaker has completed speaking. When your name is called, please come to the presenter's table and speak into the microphone. Speakers should state their name, address, in relationship to the district at the beginning of their comments for the public record. Each presenter is allotted up to 3 minutes. If the tone sounds, the comments should be concluded as quickly as possible. Finally, presenters who wish to leave written materials for the board can give them to me. Are there any cards to be turned in at this time?
Si alguien desea hacer un comentario ante la Junta Educativa, le pido que mande.
Thank you. Our first and only speaker is Julio Cholula.
Buenas noches. Hi. 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 I'm coming tonight to express my concern on how the PBIS is used as a positive behavior intervention support, but as a way to target student undocumented negative behavior. I have talked to you in the past about this issue and nobody seems to listen. Last Tuesday, October 10, 2030, my son, who is in 2nd grade and Hope Elementary, received an office referral form from the art teacher because he was misusing or destroying supplies. Playing with paint. As the teacher commented, states playing with paint. I don't understand how this TBIS can be seated and supported by 2 principals at different schools and used in such a negative way. The work of all this is that principals trained their staff to follow PBIS matrix, and if students do not comply with this, they get a referral, which contains only negative solutions. I recommend you to get involved and revise that the schools are doing. I suggest to hire a certified expert on PBIS or stream videos and PBIS matrix online for other place that can train all the principals, get social workers, psychologists involved to create a PBIS matrix that will support student learning and develop their social skills as well as their knowledge. And stop punishing students. As I see it, the district is still conquering students like colonialists did when they come to this country. The way is kill the Indian, save the men, punish them because they do not want to help, listen or learn a new culture. When you come in to here in America, it's Quanto teach you. How many times Native American teach you to survive? Native American helped Afro-American for the slavery, for escape. How many times you government massacred Native American, Canada, United States, Mexico, and all the countries. So it's not my philosophy. My philosophy is teach. Thanks.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda.
On the consent agenda, we have minutes of the board meeting September 16, minutes of the board meeting September 23rd, 2013, itemized bills October 7, 2013, personnel reports October 7, 2013, and school resource officer contracts for all secondary schools with the Bartlett, Elgin, South Elgin, and the Streamwood Police Departments.
Does anyone want any item removed from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda of October 7th, 2013?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bidelman?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Neill Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Napolitano?
Yes.
Ms. Noland?
Yes.
Mrs. Porter?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
So,
Okay, the next item on the agenda is other business. Board member update. Does anyone have it? Oh, go ahead, Stephen.
So, a week ago, for the first time this year, we got to do the superintendent's student advisory board. Sure.
Sorry, we want everybody here.
Right, so last week on Monday, it was the first superintendent's student advisory board meeting for the year. Yeah, it's my third year. Okay, so we got to do that. And it was just meeting all the new people, seeing fresh faces, getting to know other seniors, other underclassmen from other schools. And we started talking about what we're happy about with the district so far. And I talked to a couple of people, and generally of the secondary schools, people are happy with Glasgow. They think it's working. They think that students are now afraid of getting them, so they put more effort into getting the class on time. So that's one thing. Most of them praise to the principals. They think we're doing great in that regard, that principals are communicative, they're getting feedback, and they're happy about that. Peer tutoring's also going on. There's more push for extracurriculars. The PLTW classes keep growing, so we're happy about that, particularly Bartlett. I know the Beacon Academy just had some new equipment and resources, so they're really happy about that, because, you know, new is always great. I was talking to a couple of Bartlett kids, and they asked me if any of those schools had some sort of college specialist, because I know Larkin has a college lady, and she coordinates college trips. We go on different things. We talk about scholarships and the like. I know a couple of kids, a couple of my peers went on a college trip about a week or so ago. They got to go to DC and just look at a bunch of schools, 3 of them. So they were wondering if anybody else has anything like that, someone specifically that looks up these kind of things they can talk to, besides their own counselors, in the case that they're busy. So there might be something to look into that. South Elgin also had their homecoming, pretty sure. So there was that, and our Larkin football game on Saturday, we lost, sadly, but then again, it was Batavia. They are ranked by state, so come on, give us a chance. We tried, though, so there is that. And yeah, pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. And school's going well for you?
Yes,
Good,
busy though.
good. Any other board members?
I know if Amy were here, she would tell us all about how Larkin had done in the football team and everything, but if she had been to the Elgin High football thing over the homecoming game over against Aurora, she would have seen something very unusual. Aurora hadn't won a game in like 40-some games, like a long streak, huge long streak, and they went nuts when they won. Absolutely emptied the place. So, and we were all very well behaved, so everything went, that was a nice game. If we're gonna lose, that's a nice game. So I'm gonna be proud of Belgium. Anyway.
Anything else?
I don't know if this is appropriate now or if we need to have an agenda item for the next board meeting. So I'll push that to you, but I just had a question for the board members that didn't vote or that voted no for the last meeting on the budget. The reason why I'm asking that question is typically, especially with something like the budget, we've gone over it for a long time, and there's usually some sort of indication as to concerns that you might have, so that, at least for all of us, that we can kind of know where we're going when it comes to, especially affirming or not affirming something on such a large scale. So I'm wondering if we can have some discussion about that, because it didn't seem, the no vote surprised me based on the discussions that we were having or the questions. It didn't seem very clear to me that there were issues presented that weren't resolved, I guess. So that was just a question, and I think that this gives us an opportunity to be transparent to the public about kind of where we're coming from on some things, and I wasn't very clear. I kind of got a sense of it when I read the newspaper the next day, but I wasn't very clear that night. That was where you guys were coming from. So I don't know if this is a good time to talk about that now, or if we need to put that on the agenda for next week.
It's not a voting item, right, so we really don't need an agenda item for it. We could talk about it now, right? Yeah, we could talk about it now.
It's better than actually going to relying on the newspapers. I mean, no offense, sorry guys. But I've been trying to start a food co-op, and they misquoted the guy so badly. That was the truth. But they misquoted him so badly. It was amazing to me where they just kind of manufactured that stuff. So I'd like to not rely on the newspapers and talk to you guys in person about it.
And if you don't feel comfortable doing that now, and you'd like to craft an answer, you don't have to do that now either. I'm trying not to put you on the spot, but at the same time, I do feel like, at least for your colleagues or the board, it would be helpful to know where you're coming from.
So your question is, why did I vote no?
Yeah, or why did I not understand that vote was even coming up until that point, yes.
Why did you not understand?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't understand what my answer was going to be.
Yes, okay.
Well, it's an evolution, and yes, we have been presented the budget a couple of times, maybe 3, I think I counted. And my questions have evolved each time, and I felt like that night I didn't get all my questions answered, and I wasn't comfortable voting yes. I was not comfortable without getting more answers. And you may say, well, you had your chance before. That might be true, but there is a learning curve, and I'm learning as I go. And each week, I come up with, you know, perhaps new questions, and that night, I had more questions, and I did not feel like they were being answered. You know, they were deferred.